down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
All right, Savvy investors, ladies and gentlemen, worldwide friends of all. I hope that this episode will motivate you and you will start this tradition that we started as a family, my wife and I, several years ago. We do this thing. We don't have a really name for it. It's called a year in review. Basically, we write down throughout the year. You could say it's a journal or defining moments or things in your life that will trigger you to remember how far you've come, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's where you've been that helps you to where you go. So if you deal with, we kind of do this thing like a success binder, successes that you've gone through, like people that have written you letters of encouragement. We've kind of translated that into just a Word doc, or we don't use Word, but a Google Doc on our phones, and then we just write down things that have impacted us throughout the year. And so what I'm going to do right now, you can call this the year in review, or call it whatever you want to call it, but it's good to see what has happened to you and go back, oh yeah, in 2015, this happened, 2016. And just for me and my family, my wife and I, it's just cool just to see how far you've come. And when you've seen how far you've come, it motivates you to do things that you haven't done before. If you can do that before, you can do that again. If you did that deal before, you can do that again. If you sustained and overcome an audit, you can do that again. If you've gotten a loan that you thought that you would never have gotten, you can do that again. And so I'm not telling you this review. I'm humbled. It's cool to review it. It's taken me a long time to bust this out for you guys because I've just been, I don't know if I should reveal all this information about myself, but I want to be authentic and transparent. I'm humbled. I'm amazed. I'm also motivated that you can learn from the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you can see how God has pulled me out of a lot of events and things I thought that would never have happened. And so these thoughts that I'm about to tell you, these are things that happened to me through 2016. They are not in chronological order. They are random. There might even be some duplicates on here, just so you know. So don't critique. Well, you can critique, but, it's on you. Anyway, so right out the gate, 2016, January, a year ago, one of my goals was to speak in Cancun or outside of, Oklahoma, obviously, but outside of the United States for the Mr. Landlord Conference. I was super stoked. Got my little passport card. Thought it was no big deal. Get to the airport, practice my presentation. I wanted to just go ballistic and knock this deal out. I get to the airport. I'm standing at the airport trying to check in, and they're like, no. You can't leave. I'm like, why? I got a passport card. And that's the problem. You have a passport card. That only works for land travel, like if you're on a cruise or a boat, but not for planes. And I was like, are you serious? And so the one thing that really drove me crazy, one, was I was like kind of casual about it. Two, I had to cancel an event that's never happened. So that really just frustrated the whatever out of me. And it's just the circumstances that you have to learn. That was my 2016 right at the gate, slapped me in the face. Another thing that's real impactful for me was investorweekend.com. It was super successful. It's just so excited that people just can rallied around me, that we promoted it, that people came. We had over 160 something people. Oklahoma City, great speakers, growing in real estate and investing. My friend Thomas Morgan came to Oklahoma City and we spoke, and some students signed up on our coaching. It was my very first coaching with another individual. It worked out great. I learned from my life to work on routines. I need to have routines, and I started this thing called Streaks, and then I rewarded myself and just helped me to stay focused, helped me to hit my goals. So I started Streaks and routines. on a property. I was getting sued from the city, became a criminal case. This is 2016, was just nutty. All of a sudden I was getting, bench warrants for a property that I owned, that I sold to somebody on terms, and they weren't maintaining the property, and it became a criminal case. I know that's crazy. You can get in a criminal case against the city if you don't maintain a property. Just so you know, that happened to me in 2016. A friend of mine, OK Bride, I sold that bridal business. Their trailer got stolen with all their pipe and drape in there. That was really sad. My boy Thomas Morgan went to church with me. That was pretty cool. That was pretty paramount. Well, my wife and I, we run a Bible study, a life group. We've had growth in the life group intimately, and folks have come and gone. It has been an impact in our life. I stepped up my game. I donated $1,200 to the WizKid table. Sold my DJ business in 2016. No more. A side note on the DJ business, just before I sold it, the bridal show people came to me and said, "We don't want you to MC the stage no more." That was a crushing deal. I was in a court case on a gas leak at a rental property. We won that case. It was just murder, but it was stressful, and just the things that we learned through this process. We won't do that again. I'm writing a book with a friend of mine, an attorney. It always has been an answered prayer for me to have attorney friends in my life, not to use them, but I'm just awed and honored and of lawyers and what they can do, just like doctors or anyone that's specific, a master of a skill. Started a book called Landlords, Lawyers, and Lawsuits. Hopefully that will come out this year. That is on my goals, and you can hear my goals in the next couple of days. A friend of mine raised $3 million for a 103-unit apartment building. Intricate in that. It was awesome. So my mom spent a lot of time in the hospital this year. She had a hospital, just drama. I learned to say no to people this year, and I was managing some properties to help some friends out, and I said no. I can't do it anymore. It was just way too stressful, and it was just putting stress on my friendships that, you're dealing with ghetto tenants, and then you're calling my friend and say, "Dude, what do you want me to do with this person?" And I can see the frustration in their life. It was just creating more. So I had to say no. A friend of mine sold a property. I birthed Red Capital Funding on February 14th, kind of Valentine's Day. I know it's kind of cheeseball, but whatever. So that was kind of cool. Did some small lending, real minimal. But I started a company. I don't know where it's going to go. Hopefully it goes to big things, but that's called Red Capital Funding. I realized that I need to write more to grow more. I need to write more to grow more. Remember that. Write more to grow more. And that could be in your journal. That could be if you like to write books. If you have that goal this year, you should write books. A friend of mine was building a house. It was really cool to see it from the beginning to the end, what he went through. Also, I helped someone donate some money to a skateboarding ministry, which was kind of cool. Got some friends of mine, a company they own, GRP Fly. It's an amazing clothing company to help sponsor kids with WizKids. I finally inked another kids book called ABC Book of Success. Hopefully that will come out this year. That is on my list to do, and you'll hear all that. Just what else? Okay. Did a lot of stuff with the church. We hosted something at the house for the leadership team for the church that I go to. It's pretty paramount. My wife did some growth, and she no longer didn't stop teaching for coaching basketball, which was a hard thing for her because she doesn't like to say no. She took on an amazing coaching student, which was really cool. Seeing my wife coach someone from going from struggles to just success very quickly, and she has a gift. And I was just sitting on the sidelines, just watching her transform and help somebody was just pretty amazing. A friend of mine, my general manager, her aunt was in the hospital for a week. That was frustrating. A worker friend of mine had a baby. I was able to donate a crib from our child to them. Spoke at the Millionaire Fastlane Summit. Amazing life change there. Another life change is that MJ DeMarco is putting my story in his new book that's coming out in 2017. That happened in 2016. Pretty stoked. My boy Thomas Morgan and I, we coached 6 students. Was pretty remarkable. Another thing that I learned tremendously, got hammered on. A bank went off on me because I took some massive losses. I did my taxes in 2015. This is something I planned on doing as an entrepreneur. This is another day, but a bank kind of went ballistic, and they kind of twisted my arm and said, you need to put this other business that you have as a grantor or guarantee. And I trusted this situation, and it didn't, nothing happened to me, but I learned a lot about grantoring and how banks function and audits and compliance. And I just learned a lot. And then eventually I got this release, but it was a short-term thing. It taught me a lot about banking, and I learned a lot in 2016. I finally turned my Roth IRA into a self-directed IRA. That's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I hired a telemarketer for Investor Weekend. I don't know if it did anything. I got to interview one of my greatest people that I look up to, Tim Herridge out of Dallas. I got to interview him. It's just doing big things. Just admire what he's doing, his swagger. I got to coach some new students this year, 2016. Thought that went really well. Redid the deck at my house, installed a fence at my house, helped restarted a construction business that, I started a long time ago, didn't do well, but some friends jumped in, and we created that thing. So it's really cool about that. I pushed myself to do a couple of weeks of 5 episodes a week. Pretty crazy. In 2016, we bought a trampoline for the kids. Woo! I'm telling you right now, if you have any children from 0 to, I don't know, maybe 10, my child's 7 right now, the trampoline has been the smartest thing. Go to Sam's Club or Costco and buy a $200 trampoline if you can afford it, if you can fit it into your backyard or your front yard. I don't know, get ghetto, get trashy, I don't care. The trampoline works. It does. Your kids want it. I know some liability. They may flip off the deal. Hey, it's worth it. My kids are out there every day, even the winter. We were out there. It snowed this last weekend. We were out there jumping around on the trampoline. It's mega fun. I definitely recommend a trampoline. All right. 2016, I'm still rolling. Hopefully this is not just weird or boring for you. Hopefully that you do the same thing, that you go back and think about what 2016 meant to you, what you've learned, what you've grown, what you've learned, what you should have done, what you can do. All right, so that's enough of that little interjection there. 2016, bought a Kia minivan, top of the line. I'm telling you right now, I know people are like, I can't believe you spent that much money on a Kia minivan. Me too. But I'm telling you, the Kia minivan 2016 Limited is off the chisel. Heated seats, AC in the seats, the steering wheel is heated, 2 sunroofs. I'm telling you right now, some people are dipping in a BMW. I am dipping in a Kia minivan, and I'm happy about it. Remodeled the office that I office in, which was something that I would not do. Another friend came, my general manager. She's like, we need to remodel this thing. I'm like, no, we don't. It's expensive. I don't want to spend any more money on this deal. So I had faith. I remodeled this office. Next thing you know, it's off the chain. We rented it out. It was a blessing. Connected with another attorney. We started this thing called PAC, Political Action Committee, because I was getting hammered by the city on fines. And so there's a great attorney, another attorney in my life, which is just a great thing. My son and I, we went to Springfield, Missouri to hang out with a builder, which was just paramount for 2016 for my little 5-year-old. But I'm telling you, I enjoyed it so much. I got to drive 5 hours with a 5-year-old. Or was he 4 at the time, or 5? I think he was 5, right? Because it'd be 6. But it was just interesting to be a dad and take my boy and just boys. And we went to this construction site that my friend is a builder, which he was a landlord for many, many years, became a builder. Why would you ever become a builder? I know seems to be everybody's dream. It's not my dream, but I always, thought that I maybe one day would be a builder. Man, I'm glad I went up there. He had like 12 or 13 houses from the start to the end. And it was interesting to see the dirt and the concrete mold all the way up to the finished project, all in a line, all on a cul-de-sac. It was just interesting. I don't know if it made an impact in my son's life, but it was an amazing experience for myself, hopefully for my son as well. Finally finished my deck on the backyard, in my backyard. That has been drama for a long time since I've lived here at my house. My wife ran the memorial run. She crushed it, which led into this whole goal that she has of running a race in every state. And it's going to take her 10 years on an average of 5 races, half marathons a year for 10 years, which is 50 states. I think that's a great goal, a great dream. I'm able to live my dream out, and it's just cool to see my wife have goals and dreams, and I can support her. She ran in all kinds of cool races, did a bunch of wholesale deals with JV, joint ventures. That's what JV means. Bought a house for $6,000, turned out to be a disaster. I had this crazy water leak at my own crib. I work in construction. I'm a general contractor for a long time, and in my own crib, I could not find an effing lake. I mean, it was just so bizarre. Every once in a while, there'll be pools of water at random at my house, and it finally came down to, I know this is just buck wild, and one of my workers that came and looked at it just figured it out. It was very frustrating, but it was the water softener, because it would happen every week or every couple of weeks. I don't know. And it was a water softener, a little discharge hose fell out, and man, got a speeding ticket in 2016. That's whack. Found out that a $15, $20 RC helicopter could be mega fun. Little $20 Amazon helicopter. Friends of mine, we went to summer camp together as a family, the summer camp called Kanakuk. That was super fun. My wife has become a super runner almost every week. Pretty impressed. Sad thing is that my mom passed away on Easter weekend. That was rough. I'm still dealing with that deal, but it's all good in the hood. 6 weeks after I sold the DJ business, my entrepreneur side inside of me just went ballistic. I thought I had to do something else. Created this thing called racedayevent.com. It was a race car, RC car, track thing. I shut that deal down real fast, but it was fun for a minute. Remodeled the office again, rented it out to some wholesalers that sat next to me, which was kind of cool. Reconnected with my brother. He's been estranged. I haven't seen him in forever, and we had a connection with RC cars. That's remote control cars. If you ain't into that, if you think that's whack, that's okay, because I like RC cars. I finally stepped up and said, hey, I'm going to do, I'm not going to be ashamed of something that I like or enjoyed. And some people think, and I used to be that guy. That's so funny. I used to, man, you should be out doing something else than sitting there playing some RC cars. But here I am, people play video games. I don't play it all the time. I haven't played RC cars until this last weekend, but you need to have some kind of a hobby, some kind of an outlet. I'm pretty honored for this. I did the sound and lights for Mr. Landlord Convention, which is, if you haven't heard about go to MrLandlord.com. You've got to go to the Landlord Convention. I've met all of my great friends there. It's just every time I go there, I learn something. It just increases my business. And I was honored through my old school of being an engineer in sound and lights. I was able to provide that for Mr. Landlord. It was a great opportunity. It sold over 11 houses. Oh, that was the wrong one. Didn't sell over 11 houses. Sold over 11 courses on a thing that I spoke at for my VA course. My wife ran in Branson. Did a 15 refi house, cashed out a bunch of cash so I can go buy some more properties. A friend of mine had cancer, which was really, really rough for our life group, and just a process that we had to go through and rally around a couple. It's just interesting when you deal with this is an interesting process. My race day event company got shut down. I pre-played in this party. It was like a starting and an end. Able to go on a vacation to a place that I would never thought that I would ever go to. I thought it was at the beach. It was a really good, fun experience. I started Investor Breakfast in June, July, which is pretty nutty. Got to support my wife. Her dream was to run the Big Sur race in California. We just went big and just did it huge. Thinking about having someone help me, like a personal assistant. Still haven't done that. I don't know why that's on here. I was able to bless a friend of mine with a vehicle. That was kind of cool. It was a worker friend of mine. I got plantar fasciitis, or whatever if it is, my foot. I ran a race in Father's Day, 5K, trying to be like my wife. Got smashed with my ankle or whatever. This plantar fasciitis deal, it's freaking still hurts, but I'm gonna keep going. You'll hear my goals coming up, but doing that. Hired someone for the construction company that I started with some friends, did a credit class. I went to the Eric Thomas boot camp. Woo, that was a life change. I did a whole podcast on that. I learned to upgrade people. Definitely recommend that you need to upgrade people. I was honored to be on the marketing director for a friend's company for a little while. It was pretty interesting. Put some offers in on some property. Would not believe I ever purchased those properties. Printed the tech DVD that I released. It was amazing. Also released a virtual assistant course. I'm super proud of that deal. I spoke on credit class. That was pretty cool. I flipped this subject 2. It was like within 30 days. It was on a podcast. Pretty amazing. Been coaching some people that have been just hanging out, and I'm just amazed that people want to learn from me. I'm completely humbled about that. Worked with a good friend of mine, Sean McVicker. We did a wholesale course, not a course, but we did a class. It was super successful. We had some great students through that deal. A lot of people did a lot of deals. Lost 15 pounds this year, gained it all back. That's whack. Learned this thing called the Freedom Journal. Thank you, Andrew Cross. It was amazing. I need to get back on the Freedom Journal. Read this book called The Circle Maker. Ooh, really good book. Sold some East Side houses. Thought I would never sell them. Sold them in one day. Sold some houses I thought I would never sell. Disasters. Couldn't believe, but I sold them. I don't know if it was the timing. I'm not some gifted person. I was just like, wow. I was nervous because, it's kind of hypocritical because in all my in my books, in my red book, my very first book, don't sell, keep assets. And as I mature as a real estate investor, sometimes you need to sell assets to buy more assets. And it's been an interesting situation. A friend of mine got a snake bite, like a venom, like a whatever it is. I don't know. I'm tired, but got a snake bite. My son loves school. Our daughter got accepted into a little Votech school, which was pretty cool. I learned to have expectations. I got burned on a deal, helping somebody out. It's a long story, but I learned to have expectations on the front end, and then kind of what you're willing to lose. And I just learned a lot, grew a lot through helping certain people. Did group coaching in September, which was an interesting experience. It was a fun experience. I definitely want to do group coaching again. My daughter got an awesome teacher at school that is very disciplined and structured, which is my daughter's kind of all over the place. So it was awesome to have that. My wife ran another race. A house that I did a contract for deed for, or rent to own, or whatever you want to call it. Guy comes in one day and pays it off. Amazing. Like just things you thought could never happen, and it was like at a perfect time. I needed that funding for another deal. Just bizarre. I was able to speak in Orlando, and with Augie Bylight, which is one of my idols. Not only that, the cat put a quote from me on the back of his book. I was blown away, humbled. I was able to do some private loans I got a private loan from somebody else. I was able to do a private loan to somebody else out of my IRA, which was been a long-term goal. Then I was able to borrow some more private money, started this thing called Full Throttle Investor, started this thing called Full Throttle Retreat, hired and fired an assistant very quickly. Interesting. Bought an office building. Couldn't believe it. Still can't believe it. Just did that podcast. Bought an out-of-state property. Still can't believe it. Still trying to do it. And I'm telling you, this is all in the last November, December. Just outrageous. Flipped an office building. Outrageous. Blessed. We needed the finances to finish up this office building that we just closed. And I'm just outrageous. Just amazing. My son no longer needs training wheels. Thought that was cool. The folks that the individual that had cancer in our Bible study, we were able to raise over $7,000 for that family, which was pretty amazing. My wife ran over 10 races this year. The Savvy Radio Show, what you're listening to, it's just a long story, but it's been super successful. Over 4,000 downloads a month. I can't believe that. I got a loan on the office building so quickly at a 4.75. Could not believe that. And here's one thing that I did that I want to recommend that you do. I spent $100 on Amazon. I don't know how this came. Oh, it was just doopy-doo, but Amazon was like, if you spend $100, you get a free teddy bear. Something's wrong with me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to spend $100 on the family. What can I do for $100? So I bought a ton of board games. We're talking Jenga. I don't even like Jenga, but I like Jenga now. Connect 4. My children are 7, 5, and 3. There was the best $100 2016 could ever provided for my family. If you got $100, 2 things you should do with $100. I should do a whole podcast on what you should do with $100. 1, you should just give your wife or your husband $100 and say, hey, do whatever you want to do with it. That was one thing I learned from Jason G. There you go. Another $100, I bought as many board games as I could buy, from $7 games for Skippo and Old Maid all the way up to Monopoly for juniors. And it's been one of the greatest things that I've done. It forces us to have game night because, I don't want to spend $100 and I ain't going to do nothing with it. I hit my goal of over 25 units this year. I'm on track to reach my big goal for 40 when I turn 45. My son can read for the first time on December 14, 2016, 5 years old, just super proud of that guy. I was with him last night and he was reading to me. I was just honored. My wife refinished some rental property for this Airbnb. We just, that was January. I learned one of the big things I learned for 2016, I need to write out my expectations for people. I continue to get burned from some workers, or I got burned from somebody else because I thought that they knew how to treat other people. That's not necessarily the case. I helped a friend flip a $385,000 house. Didn't yield anything. You heard that on a podcast. And one of the things that took me forever to do is I were recording a podcast from my home. So I had this weird stigmatism that you couldn't do it. I had the equipment and I was just nervous about doing it. I was weak about it. And here I am right now, 5 a.m. in the morning, recording a podcast, hopefully to inspire you, hopefully to encourage you. So the goal for this podcast is not to say, oh, wow, Van Kellenberg's so cool. Look at all the crap that he did. Nope. The goal is for you to do the same thing. Get the freaking pen and paper out. Get your phone out, iPhone freaking friends. Get the little Post-it note in your iPhone. Get a note. I use Google Tasks, use Google Keep, use the Journey app, and document all the great things and all the things that you've learned from each year. And you could see how far you've grown. And just me going through all these things that happened to me just motivates me to continue to fight, to continue to go on. And, I'm listening to Grant Cardone book again. I don't know how to say his last name. It don't matter. Obsessed or Be Average. And, I heard it again the other day. Write your goals out every day. Zig Ziglar taught you carry your goals with you. And I think you have to have a year in review. Jim Rohn was really big on it. He would go to the mountain. And just even Jesus went to the mountain and just meditated and figured out where things went, where it went right, where it went wrong, and you can do more. Anyway, my name is Steven Van Kellenberg. I know this was a little bit about real estate, but my goal is to inspire you and to help you to do the things that you need to be doing and make an impact in this world, not only for yourself, for your family. You go out there, you buy assets. With those assets, you can help the less fortunate. You can help the family member that needs your help. It's easier and better when you can do all that your capacity, all that you can do, and you can if you just review what you've done so you can move forward and do great things. Thanks for listening. If there's other episodes you want to check out, it's thesavvyradioshow.com.
Thanks for listening to The Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.